What is up, YouTubers and lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome to another video for 2020 on a car that we've kind of touched on in the past. We did actually do a 2008 Vauxhall Astra about a year and a half ago, I believe. You look back through the videos. Actually, I'll link it up here somewhere, but that was the three-door coupe that I bought. So if you want to have a look at that review as well and kind of compare the two, you're more than welcome to. As I said, the link's on the right-hand side of the page, or was a couple of seconds ago. But this is another one of my bargain buys in that kind of series. If you saw the Seat Leon and the 1 Series BMW, the M Sport, that I bought from a salvage yard, this was the third purchase, as it were, in the space of about a month. And it just goes to show, the first one, the Seat, loved it. The M Sport, liked it. This one, made a bit of a balls up, if I'm honest, guys, and I'll talk you through that in a minute. Just goes to show that, you know, it doesn't matter how many cars you buy or bikes you buy, you can still make the odd mistake. And of course, the situation being that, as it is at the moment with COVID, that you can't actually go and physically see these cars, it's very difficult to know what you're buying. Anyway, let's talk about the car, and then I'll talk you through the problems I've found. It's a 2008, as I said, a fairly high mileage, 118,000, 118,500. Now, the reason I bought this is because I got bored. I'd already sold the Seat and the 1 Series, the silver one, the M Sport diesel, and I was just looking, and a week went past, nothing came along that was suitable for me. Then another week went past, still nothing suitable, and I just ended up jumping on this. The one thing I have noticed is, I mean, I put my max bid at 500 quid because I wasn't going to be there when the auction finished, and it was at 420 at that point, and I thought, well, okay, but 420, you can't argue with that. And coincidentally, whether the rumours are true that they bump up your bid based on what your max bid is, who knows, but it went for, guess what, 500 quid. Now that was all fine and dandy, but of course then you got the fees on top, the delivery, so it came into me at 685 quid, something like that, which you'd think is a good price, but it is a cat N, obviously from a salvage yard. It needed, I mean, on the pictures, it's a shame I can't kind of whip those into you, but if you do want to see the pictures as it was when it arrived to me, they are on my Instagram account, which is on the banner photograph for the homepage of the YouTube channel. So just have a look up there and you'll see what it was, what it's been done, etc, etc. Now, it's really difficult when it comes to matching up old wings and doors and bonnets and all the rest of it. As you can see, that is actually color coded, that wing, but it looks like nothing else on the car at all, and it's the same year that it came off, all the rest of it. So that was 40 quid just for that wing. The bumper was looking a bit battered and bruised. The headlight was smashed to pieces. I didn't even see that on the pictures. The fog light was smashed to pieces. So now I'm kind of left with this car which has got a mismatched wing. The bumper, I did everything I could to get that back. I didn't replace it because I just have run out of money with this bloody car, if I'm honest. It's a bit of a nightmare. We'll talk about the car and then I'll tell you what the problems are that I found with it. As I said, it's a 2008, 120,000 miles, 118,000 miles. It drives actually very, very well, if I'm honest. Just like the three-door coupe did. You know, I don't have a problem with that. I still think that these cars offer great value for money, generally speaking. Now, it's only 12 years old. The problem with these cars that I've realised now I've had a chance to drive some newer cars is simply that they feel their age. You know, this is a bit of a granddad's car, if I'm honest. The three-door coupe, which I reviewed before, that was a little bit younger. It felt a little bit more funky. It had the piano black interior. This doesn't have any of that. You know, it's you'd expect to see a tow bar on the back of this and somebody pulling a caravan along, if I'm honest. It is a petrol, a 1.6 Breeze. Everything else on it is fine. The clutch is great. The engine seems fine. It's got a lot of room interior wise. I mean, the birds would stop pooping on my car. That would be nice as well, bastards. What else? They had a tiny little dint just in this little area here, which I put a Cornwall flag over because I didn't know what else to do with it. I'm kind of stuck with this car because it has got scuffs and marks literally everywhere. But you know, it's a 2012 car and I don't think it's been very well loved, if I'm honest. Interior wise, it's spotless. It's really weird. As you can see, the rear seats hardly look like they've been sat in. The front seats the same. I mean, it's a bit grubby because we're in the middle of winter now, but you know, let's jump inside. It's got steering wheel controls, as you would expect. It's not a horrible cockpit. Let me just turn this dash on for you guys. It's not a horrible cockpit, but it does have that orange. Let me turn that radio down as well. That orange that I loathe. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I loathe this kind of orange crap all over the place. But generally speaking, it's okay. It's a nice little place to be, generally. I preferred the piano black, as I said, on the three-door coupe than this kind of almost dirty gold. But it's okay, you know. It's a good little runaround, I would say. Let's whip that off and make sure I take the key with me, because otherwise we could be in trouble. We'll open that bonnet as well. This is going to be a bit of a quick video, guys, if I'm honest, purely because, as I said, I've already reviewed a 1.6 petrol engine, one of these before, but I wanted to just share with you what I'm up to, basically, and let you know what I can still balls up quite easily, and I have done with this. The first thing I noticed, obviously, was the headlight, which I hadn't spotted, which needed replacing. That was 25 quid. The fog light was 25 quid. The wing was 50 quid. I had to do what I could with this area here. I have actually sprayed that, believe it or not, because I had to sand it all back, this whole quarter here, and repaint it. And it looks okay in the rain. That's what I would say. The only advisory on the MOT, which it's got an MOT till June, and the only advisory on that was, I think, a nail in the rear tyre. But as you can see, somebody's actually replaced all the tyres on here recently, so I don't think that's a big issue. But it's little things like these brake calipers. They just look really battered and bruised and horrible and crusty now. You know, you've got this lump on the bloody wing here, which I couldn't do much else about. It is what it is, and as I said, you know, it's not going to win any beauty contests. It drives nice. There's no problem with the clutch, no problem with the engine, no warning lights on the dash. There is a problem, I think, with the drop links on the back, or one of them at least, because it's got this little clunking noise, which from my experience is probably a drop link at the back. No biggie, they're about 20 quid. 20 minutes to change it. I'm not going to do it. I can't throw any more money at this car, because so far this car owes me over 800 quid. And, you know, in hindsight, I'll be lucky to get my money back on this. You know, I really cocked up with this. I think it's probably a £500 or £600 car, if I'm honest, you know, the way it is, because it's got higher mileage than it perhaps should do. It's got that knocking. It's not very pretty in the respect that the wing doesn't match very well. The bumper needs a little bit of work, but if somebody just wants a cheap little runabout, I still maintain that these cars are great value. You know, if you could pick this up, if I sold this for somebody for 700 quid or something like that, with an MOT till next June, that's 8 months of driving. You know, that's 100 quid a month, basically. Even if the car blew up or you decided to scrap it, you know, that's 25 quid a week for driving around in comfort, because they are still comfortable. This is as comfortable as the 3-door was, but more practical, obviously, because it's got the 5 doors. It's a more generic colour. They all seem to come in this kind of silver or grey silver. But as I said, it's not going to win any beauty contests, and this isn't really a review per se. I just want to let you know what I was up to, how things were going in my life for you long-term subscribers, and that you can still make a bit of a cock-up, you know, because I write down what I think the value of the car is, how much I can bid, and what it's going to cost me to fix it. I didn't spot the headlight or the fog light. That was an extra 50 quid. I didn't obviously know about this drop link at the back knocking. That could be another 50 quid if I was going to pay somebody to do it and buy the part, you know, and it all adds up. You know, if I start thinking about, right, okay, well, I should replace that bumper, that's another 100 quid. You know, I could easily spend with buying the car and getting it looking the way it should do, I could easily spend £1,000 on this car, and it's not worth it. You could buy a non-crashed 2008 with this kind of mileage from a dealer for, you know, probably 1,100-1,200 quid. So, you know, I did cock up, but I still maintain for a £500 or £600 car, being a Cat N, if you just wanted to use it for a year, great, fantastic. Not much history, obviously, because it came from salvage yard, which is a bit of a shame, but, you know, you go by the MOT when you've got no history and your own experience, in the respect that, you know, you've seen enough cars now and you should know what you're looking at. And it's a shame that you can't go and have a look at these, you know. Obviously you can't test drive them, so if I'd have test driven it, I would have known straight away the drop link's gone. I would have seen that the headlight had gone. I would have seen that the spotlight had gone, and I probably, well, no, I wouldn't have bought it. If I'm dreadfully honest, I wouldn't have bought it. But it is what it is, you know, and there's the little lump, the little 1.6 breeze lump. I mean, it's pretty tidy underneath here. I think it needs a bit of oil because the oil light came on earlier on. Nothing really drastic in that respect. The one good thing about all of this is the experience I've gained. You know, I've actually sprayed something that didn't come out looking like a pig's arse. As in, you know, I cut in from here and blended it all the way into there. I was hoping I could cover up more of that little kind of indiscretion there, shall we say. But it is what it is. And if you look at the pictures on Instagram, it was a lot worse than that, you know. This is just dirt down here, so don't worry about that. That's not my crappy painting, although my painting is not brilliant, as we know. Again, the wing, I mean, I just assumed that if you bought the same year in the same colour code, it would just pop on, it would be exactly the same colour. as you can see, no. So just be aware that if you're going to buy a cheap old Vauxhall from a salvage yard that's been crashed, you're not going to make any money on it. That's the one thing I've learned, you know. I made a drink out of the Seat, and I made a drink out of the M Sport 1 series, you know, and they were nice cars, you know, but they were both lower mileage with longer MOTs, and I could see, you know, what was going on damage-wise with that. As I said, I got bored, I pulled the trigger on this, and straight away I thought, oh Christ, what have I bought here? The one giveaway was that nobody else bid on it. I was the only person bidding on it, which should have rung some alarm bells, you know. It is what it is, though, you know, you make mistakes, life's all about that. You know, at the end of the day, if every car I bought I could make money on, or I loved, I'd keep them all, and my entire street would be full of my cars. But it's not. This is a bit of a pig, and it'll go cheap, and I'll get rid of it, and I will have, you know, got the experience of taking wings off and replacing them, taking headlights out, removing bumpers, spraying them, that kind of stuff. You know, what to do, what not to do. Have a very, very good look at the pictures. I mean, I've said that before. If you're thinking about buying cars from salvage yards that you can't go and physically see, really, really, really check out the pictures. Because I should have seen that it needed a new fog light. I should have seen it needed a new headlight, you know. But that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's a cheap little runaround. It's not the worst car I've ever owned. It's certainly not the best car I've ever owned. And it's also got that very common kind of, it doesn't show up, I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's got this, it almost looks like cracking in the lens here. Can't really see it very well today, but that's there as well. So again, I could have replaced that light. But it is what it is, you know. As I said, I've learned a lesson. I've never removed bumpers or painted bumpers or removed wings and headlights and fog lights and all that kind of stuff, and had the car in bits. Again, if you look at my Instagram channel, you'll see there the whole front end was basically stripped to rebuild it, and that was good experience. You know, I'm hoping I'm not going to lose my arse on this. As I said, it owes me about 800 quid. If I could get even 600 or 700 quid back for it, I'll put it down to experience, walk away from it. Somebody will get a good little cheap run around, and I'll slap myself on the wrist and say, don't do that again, and lesson learned, hopefully. Anyway, that's it for this video. As I said, it's not a review per se, it's just to let you know what I'm up to, and my experience with, you know, what should have been a great little buy from a salvage yard for 500 quid that turned out to be a bit of a pig. But, you know, as I said, life is like that sometimes. You can't have it always, can you? Otherwise, you know, you'd be a bloody genius, and I'm far from that. Anyway, comments, questions, opinions, put it down in the comments section. If you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. Don't slag it off because it's not a review, as the title might pertain to. It's more thoughts on, you know, what this car's all about, what you should and shouldn't do, and, you know, let you know what I'm up to. Anyway, I hope you're all keeping well and safe, and look out for another video in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. And as I said, if you like this kind of stuff, consider subscribing, and watch out for some new content coming very soon. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and take care.